speakers. They give away points. A lot of people on hold, so we're going to continue with the phones. Let's go out to Baltimore. How are you, Baltimore? Baltimore, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, can you meet me, Zach?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Enjoy listening. Let's go out to our good friend Jonathan. How are you, Jonathan?
Zach.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Hey, you know what I was saying about the police being responsible, and with the hoaxes in Florida,
right?
And then look what happens. I get to Sacramento, and they pull another hoax. I don't know if it's a hoax or not, because with the job I have, I mean, I'm sure it's a hoax, but what I'm saying is this: with the job I have, I work on the street constantly, so I'm interacting with people all the time. So I met somebody that said that they played football with him. I forgot his name. I forgot his name off the top of my head. But somebody that plays football with him, grew up with him. Then I met somebody else that said that they knew his parents. So they went and had this big march in downtown Sacramento. I didn't participate in it. But if you come down, I'll meet you downtown, and we can expose. At the end of the day, whether it's a hoax or not, the police are still responsible. The police in Florida, this is an agenda that is coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Whether it's a hoax or not, whether they kill them or not, it's the police's fault, and they need to be held accountable, bro.
Right. Yeah, you don't even need to say it's a hoax. You don't need to say anything that you don't know is not true. Just expose how the code is. The code is so crystal clear. It shows you that these people are being targeted if they're really being killed. So that's all that needs to be said.
Right.
The agenda. It's just so easy to prove the agenda and the repetitive patterns that they work by. Everyone can understand it. It's undeniable.
So it's about action. So you say, what are you doing about it? I support TFR. I pay $10 a month to be a member of TFR. I pay $11 a month to support your Patreon channel. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about what are you doing about it, that's a good question. What are you doing about it? I'm trying to figure out what to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's just funny to me how I get to Sacramento and all this happens. They call him Zoe. The dude, that's his nickname. And they said that he was supposedly breaking in the cars. But even if you're breaking in the cars, and even if this really did happen, that doesn't deserve a death sentence.
Right.
So, it's almost like, what I was thinking about, just to switch subjects, is if we had the Gematria Awards, I would have coded Manchurian Athlete of the Year, Trae Young from Oklahoma. Murder of the Year 2018, Craig Mack. Like hoax of the year. Like every year, it's the biggest hoax of the year. Like hoax of the year 2017, the Las Vegas shooting that you predicted months in advance. The young computer shooting. This year, Stoneman Douglas shooting. 2016, Orlando Post shooting. And then we have Crisis Actor of the Year 2018, David Hogg. I was just thinking about like a way how we could expose these people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that is a good idea. I'm just thinking if we have those categories, there's going to be a lot of qualifiers every single year. You might have to do it every month because there's just so many of those events each month. So,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, something has to be done. It's just like A lot of people really were out rallying all across the nation to have their rights taken away because all they've done is fallen for the agenda, hook, line, and sinker. And I just realized this younger generation is going to lead the whole nation to hell because they don't know what's going on. They've been lied to their whole life. The police state's normal to them. Living through screens is normal to them. This whole generation can vote now. And, the young people in this nation... I want to sit here and blame them, but it's not their fault. I mean, this is the result. This is the product of the inaction of the adults who've sat by this whole time while all this crap's been done to us, who still can't see through the lies of 9/11, who can't figure out what the Amber Alerts are really all about. All they want is everyone to live in their own little bubble, live through their screen, believe what they're told. It's just like a total, culture just couldn't be any worse. And this younger generation, man, is just,
right.
They need to be woken up.
Exactly, because what they do, they're training the new generation to just, like you say, look at screens. You go to work, you're looking at a computer screen. You get off, you're looking at a phone screen. As soon as you get in your car, you're looking at your phone. Go home, you're looking at a TV screen, and Facebook, and you're constantly being lied to. And a lot of this stuff is obvious and it's easy to see through. For me anyway, I don't know. It's almost like people who see it are like a different brand of people or something.
Right.
Because it's hard to get through a lot of people. I don't know why that is.
Well, what I've found is by introducing this topic, I never start with anything that's controversial. I just teach them about gematria and geometry and language and interesting ways it works and just things that people wouldn't get defensive about. And then, based on how they're responding and following, then I'll take them into some deeper topics, and they'll see that's interesting. And what's easy to do up here in Seattle, since almost everyone hates Donald Trump up here, is just show how the election's rigged by the code, because it's just so clear to understand the significance of 187. In case you're out there listening for the first time tonight, Donald Trump, his GOP convention began July 18th, 18/7, like 187 in the majority of the world. Exactly a span of 187 days from Inauguration Day. This entire code of letters and numbers and words comes from the Bible, the first 5 books, the Torah, which is 187 chapters. Washington, D.C., using the reverse alphabetic order, 187. George Washington, using the alphabetic order, 187. Ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, using the reduction method, 187. They have their headquarters in Washington, D.C. D.C. used to be the Catholic colony. The Jesuits are the Masons within the Catholic Church. Society of Jesus, their full name equals 187. You got the first Jesuit Pope. You got Donald Trump, who went to Jesuit University. Their birthdays, a span of 187 days apart. And if you think that's arbitrary, you got to pay attention. You see how the Pope's coming to D.C. to meet Obama in a ritualistic way by the numbers. You see how Donald Trump's going to the Vatican on the 144th day of the year to meet with the Pope. And why the 144th day? Jesuit order 144 plus so much more. So, you got to go where people are, and then you got to ease them into the more important subjects, and you got to give them undeniable examples that just make a lot of sense. The caller who called in earlier, who calls in every week, who I appreciate so much, who's listening right now, he said, I want to quote this thing from your book, and he said, Adolf Hitler dead on the 120th day of the year, Illuminati 120. If you follow my work and you know more about what I wrote right there, that part's interesting, but to somebody they might say, well, that's just a coincidence. Isn't Illuminati a made-up word anyway? Because most people, they just think that. So I wouldn't suggest introducing gematria with that example. I would suggest introducing it with the gematria is geometry and language, and then talk about the significance of 108 like we did earlier. Everyone gets that. Everyone who's ever studied geometry understands the line circle example, and then they can look up that it is scientific knowledge that's reported, that the diameter of the sun's 108 Earths and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, continue on, Jonathan.
Yeah. No, well, I've been, in the last 7 months, I've been to South Dakota, Miami, Tallahassee, Montgomery, Alabama, Sacramento. Now I'm in Sacramento. So I've been all these different places, and I'm seeing all these. I'm meeting all these people in the street, and I don't see anybody out of all these places that supports Donald Trump. But at the same time, they never give me a reason why. Like, you're saying, okay, well, you don't like Trump, but you don't. Nobody could ever give a reason why. Like, you know, like I
just because
know,
they pick sides.
Well,
everybody in this nation just picks sides. They're like, oh, I like this side. I don't like this side.
Right, but give me a legitimate, like, give me a reason, because I know I don't support Trump, but nobody has actually given me a reason. They just, you know, just people just jump on sides, like you said. But the point is it goes to show you how rigged the election is because I don't see anybody anywhere in this country that supports Trump. So that goes to show you how rigged it is.
Right.
You know, like Bernie, he was bringing out the crowds. If the election wasn't actually rigged and they actually counted the votes, I bet you he would have won by a landslide.
Well, he definitely would have been the Democratic nominee. There's no doubt about that. And I mean, even at the Democratic convention, they were booing Hillary and cheering for Bernie.
Nobody supports Hillary either.
Right.
Nobody supports Hillary either.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I just think that, like you said, we gotta get organized on the streets. We gotta get offline, and we gotta get organized on the streets. And I hope you reach that number.
Well, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. We're at 2 of 50. We're at 2 of 50. So it's not looking good. And you guys, like, you got to realize I got pressure in my life to stop doing this radio show because I got so many bills to pay right now. I got 2 people putting a lot of pressure on me to not even be doing this show and to be working right now. So understand, I want to do the radio show. I like doing the radio show. I want to be doing more as always. But, you know, like, I've done this for a long time, and it's not enough people who've supported. You know, I've been trying to make things happen all these years. I don't want to be... okay, think about this. I started this right after I turned 30. I'm almost 35. At the rate we're going, I'll be 40, and we'll still be nowhere near the mission. And I don't think that's right. I mean, this knowledge is so undeniable. It's so important. You can do so much with it. I mean, how isn't the word getting out? You know, they're having their minds bombarded with nonsense every day, and people are spending their money on nonsense every day. I mean, how many people of you are ordering on Uber Eats right now and not tipping your driver and blowing $10 on getting your McDonald's driven to your house so you can support some evil corporation? I mean, how many of you is that right now? You can't give $10 for maybe the most important book ever put out? Because, I mean, that might sound like quite the statement, but I don't know of any other books that cover things the way I did and give you real tangible knowledge that you can use to, you know, see through the past and the present. Everything that I've written about in that book, every day since I put it out as PDF, every day it's just verified more and more with what's going on in the news. The same patterns that I explain in every chapter, they show through in every type of story that comes out. I mean, this work has to get out there, and we live in a world of dollars and cents. I've had to use my dollars and my own cents to get the word out. You know, I've had to pay. It's like being a college student, except for paying even more in tuition to get out this knowledge to people. And I'm saying, look, I've done this for 5 years. Who wants to step up and support? Jonathan, who I appreciate so much, he just said he supports the Patreon on the radio show. And I know Jonathan doesn't make a lot of money. You know, Jonathan is... You know, that's a big contribution from Jonathan, so I'm grateful. Jonathan on this own radio program said how hard he's worked for Kinko's in the past and how little they paid him. So $21 a month, that's a lot to Jonathan. And, you know, I'm not asking everyone to give $21. There's a $2 contribution a month. And I said, that'll count. You don't have to do the $11 contribution to get the book. You can do the $2. I'll count that towards the total. I just want to see that people are willing to invest and do this. I'm not going to go out and risk getting shot, speaking out at these protests or, you know, having some paid for gang stalkers or whatever, you know, turn my world upside down again. And, you know, not be in a position to recover it all. I need something coming in because, like you, I all got to eat and I got to, you know, keep the roof over the head and all that. I can do that taking care of myself, which is what I've been having to do the last month, or I can get some of you to step up and help out, and then I can get back to putting in the time.